Ah, shit my eye. Right. What up, loungers? I got all this wood back here. Got all this wood. Some more wood. A lot of this wood has been dead for quite some time. And it turns out that this stuff, it's really straight, hard, tough grained stuff, is holly. Holly is technically a softwood, but it is one of the hardest of all the softwoods, and it is the whitest of all softwoods. And it is so hard and white that people have used it historically to trick people into thinking it is ivory. So, it's good shit. Holly is a beautiful name for women. Holly is the wood used for Harry Potter's wand. And any Wiccans out there? I know there are Wiccans in my audience. I don't know why I would have thought you hate me, but guess I'm not as offensive as I think I am. Anyway, you nutters, you Wiccans out there, what's holly used for? What am I doing with my face? Holly is one of the most magical and spiritual and holy of all woods. It's used for making like staves, but you wear it in your hair and it protects you, and you use it at Christmas to protect you. And basically it's a very spiritual, magical wood. I think I'm getting that right. Don't worry, the holly's been dead for a while. We didn't kill it. It's these vines that killed it. As you can see, it has been dead for some time. This was only cut down yesterday. It was already this dead and dry yesterday. So it's basically been seasoning for God knows how long. Yeah, there is no sap left in this. This is going to be so easy to work with. So I did this little garden the other day. This was my project, like 2 weeks ago. This was my project. This is what I was doing. It was a good bit of fun. And yeah, I think my little planter benches and things are looking nice. So today's job, I think, is going to be a bit of whittling practice. Ugh. I'm getting so choppy. This vid's going to be a little bit less like a woodwork video and more, I think, just like a vlog. I feel like vlogging it, you know. Just vlogging the process. Vlogging all over myself. Yeah, it's our little chicken area. Looks cute. Looks very cute. Chickens are still hiding. Where are the chickens hiding at?
Yeah, under here, because it's very sheltered under there.
Oh my gosh, where are you hiding? There you are. There you are. Will do. Hello, girls. Hello, don't fear the camera. The camera is your friend. You've got to get used to it. Jungle chickens. Just like they would be in their natural habitat. Fun fact, chickens come from the jungles of China. This is this right there. Jesus. So yeah, I just wanted to cut this bit of wood basically, because why not? Bloody hell, it's heavy. This bit of wood, that's just for a project at some point in the future. Don't really want it for anything right now. Needs to season a bit more anyway. So I'm going to strip all the vines off it, neaten it up, and then just put it into storage. And then we'll carry on with our actual project for the day. Boom! So now you can really see how many vines are on it. Just killing it, sapping the life out of it. But most interestingly, notice this. The top. This is where the top had died and it had started composting. Look at that. This wood has turned into perfect soil. How crazy is that? It's actually started composting the top of this dead bit of holly. That's so cool, right? Nature, man, it's crazy. It just do what it do. You can't stop it. You can't control it. Nature. Started raining, so I've had to seek refuge. Anyway, gonna carry on this and just need to take off all these bits of vine and I'm going to debark it. Definitely gonna fully debark this and then work out what I'm going to whittle into it. Should be a bit of fun. Okay, got some other bits of filming and recording done. I'm working on like 3 or 4 video ideas at the moment. Now I'm just gonna watch some TV and debark and thingy this. I've got to debark it and take all of these things off. So I'm just gonna chill out and do this whilst watching TV. This wood is way harder than I thought it would be. I knew it was a hard wood for a softwood. Like, it's the hardest of the softwoods. But damn, this shit is hard. I need to use a saw. Just gave up on doing this yesterday. I just started raining, ruined my mood, my brain went to shit. Ended up being a bit of a crap day, really. But I'm back on it today. Need to do this outside. Gotten off all the spikies. So now it's debarking time, baby. Let's have some fun. It's too windy and we can't hear what I'm saying. I'll just turn this into a time-lapse thing. But thought it'd be fun to chat knives for a minute. This is an Opinel. I'll put links to Opinels in the description. They're the best knives. If you want an all-round carving, whittling, everyday knife, Opinel is the way to go. They are very cheap, which is one advantage. They are incredibly cheap. I think this was £8. Pretty sure they're less than a tenner. They may not look special in any shape, way, or form, but what makes them so good is just the blade, nothing other than the blade. Windy! Any carving knife, any whittling knife, any brand, or even handmade ones that I've bought or made myself, none have ever had as good or sharp a blade as the Opinel. When you get it out the box from the factory, its blade is razor, it's scary sharp. And if you know how to sharpen a knife, you can keep these things razor sharp for years. They're very easy to sharpen, very quick to sharpen, and just absolute terrifying monsters. They are the #1 cause of all of the various cuts and scars on my hand, because a tiny little slip with this thing and you're just spurting blood everywhere. So those of you watching and listening, sorry I haven't done like one of my /I'm a total piece of shit videos or any of that stuff lately. My head's just not been in a very good place, and I don't want to make those sorts of videos when I'm not in a good mental state, because they can often take a lot out of me. And I don't want to say things that I regret in these videos, and I think when I'm in a bad place, I'm more likely to say something out of feelings of just pure anger or vitriol that I wouldn't say were my brain thinking more rationally. So that is why. Speaking of sharpness, I need to sharpen this because it's not doing its job right now as well as it should be. So we'll have a little pause on this, and I'll show you how. So windy. I'll show you how to sharpen one of these guys. We're back, and the knife is actually sharp now, so we can carry on. So when whittling, there's some things you really need to know that are ridiculously important. Like 1, don't wave a knife about. 2, you got some you got some big ass arteries running through your thighs. So never, ever, ever whittle like this. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Because if you are like swinging hard, or if you have a bigger knife than this, or even with the knife like this where it's so ridiculously sharp now, if you slice open this bit here, you could nick your artery. You could slice the artery that is there. Depending on how badly you cut that, you could die in under a minute. If you like injure yourself really badly there, you're gonna bleed out. You're gonna die. So just don't do that. So when whistling, I like to make sure my body is slightly turned away, so I'm pushing the knife away from my body at all times, downwards. There's a bit of wood between me and my body, protecting me. It's what's going to keep you safe. Yes, when you're doing finer details, that's where the injuries start to occur, because you might be whittling towards your hand slightly and shit happens. If you're going to be doing something like this, inspired by one of my videos, please keep that in mind. I don't want anyone slicing open an artery because they were inspired by me. That is not the inspiration I want to give this world. Another thing, when whittling, if your knife has a lock, make sure the lock is on. See this collar? It twists. I always have it twisted this way, so as my hand is sort of pushing and rotating this way, it keeps the lock on at all times. Meaning if the knife snags in the bark, it can't clamp down and cut a finger off. If you don't have the lock on, it might bite into a bit of wood, and then as you return it up to your body, it stays bit in that bit of wood, and it comes up and it comes up, and you end up slicing your fucking top finger off, or worse, 2 of them off, or 3. You dismember yourself. Don't do that. Keep the lock on your knife. It's one of the advantages of a fixed blade knife for this sort of thing, something with a tang and a handle. But if you're a kid, you almost certainly don't have one of them. Well, I certainly hope you don't. Whereas folding knives are much safer. You're less likely to hurt somebody else with one of these. If you're using just a Swiss Army knife, I know they don't have locks on the blade or any way of locking the blade, so just be careful. And don't ever walk around in the UK carrying a knife, please. It's not a sensible thing to do. If you ever try to use it to defend yourself from somebody attacking you, you're far more likely to have it used against you and be stabbed or injured far more horrifically in the process. If somebody mugs you, the best thing you can do is, depending on fitness levels, if you can safely assess and assume that you are fitter than the person mugging you, run away. Turn and flee and run. They'll give up. If you're, a bit chubby like I was when I was a little kid and whatnot, I mean I was morbidly obese, open your wallet. If there's, if you've got a tenner and a £5 note in there, give them the £5. Just give them the money you have. They'll say give us your wallet, but just grab your wallet out and throw your money at them, and they'll probably take what you have and run away. If they're asking for your phone, go for it. The second you get back home, report it to the police. It'll be covered by insurance or whatnot. I know companies sell phone insurance, but your phone is also covered by your home insurance and whatnot, so you can get that replaced, is the point, if you report it to the police straight away. It's not worth your life. It's not worth trying to fight somebody who is carrying around a kitchen knife. You have a little Swiss Army knife. This mate is carrying a fucking kitchen knife in his pocket. And he's the one who's actually a criminal, mugging people. You're the one that's going to end up getting stabbed. Not him. You're not going to be like a badass ninja warrior and win the fight. You do not have the power of God and anime on your side. So just play it safe. Report it to the police. Like one of my absolute best friends, he was a national badminton player, one of the top badminton players in the country. He's still a phenomenally sporty chap, all round great guy. When he was playing badminton on the national level, one year he and his team, they were in London. And they were staying in a hostel in London, or a crappy hotel in London. And they'd gone to the pub, and he and one of his mates, on the way back from the pub, they were on their own. It was quite late, and some guy comes up to them, pulls a knife on them, and says, "Give us your money." So my friend and his fellow badminton playing friend, his teammate, they sort of looked at each other, turned around, and just started running. And I think there were 3 guys that actually came on them. It was 3 guys that were "Give us your money." Yeah, pretty sure there wasn't just one person with a knife. It was sort of multiple. But they just ran. And they kept running, and they kept running. After a few hundred meters, they looked back, and these fucking scumbag twat chavs had given up. And my mate and his teammate, they just kept on running. Yeah, he said it was terrifying, but at the same time, kind of once they made it back to the hostel, they just found it like almost hilarious. Like, my friend Nixie, he's 6'4". He was at his athletic prime. His legs come up to, you know, the average person's nipples. Running at a pace, he can run for, you know, well over 12 miles. And he's running at a pace, you've got no chance of catching him. So, if you're afraid of being mugged or assaulted or anything like that, the best thing you can do is work on your fitness, work on your strength. Maybe learn a couple of self-defense techniques, but they're not the things that you should ever be relying on or using, not here in the UK. This isn't for you Americans. I know somebody could, like, you start running away, someone could pull a gun on you and shoot you, but again, that's probably not likely. But yeah, if you're in the UK, maybe learn some self-defense, but also just work on your fitness levels. Get to the point where you can happily, like, not jog, but happily run a mile. That's all you need. You just need to be able to run a mile at a fairly good pace. If you can run a kilometre, if you can run a kilometre in under 6 minutes, then you're probably safe from 90% of muggers out there. I don't know if you've been mugged. I've been mugged once, and the guy that did it, he was, I mean, there was like 4 of them, but they were all fat as fuck, and I was 2 at the time. I was, like I say, morbidly obese, and that's why I had no chance. But had I had some fitness, had I had some training just in running, I'd have known the best thing I can do right now is just start running. That's why jogging's kind of pointless. If you're going to run and learn, like, go to a park where run on the soft grass and learn to sprint, do sprints. Force yourself to do the bleep test over and over, things like that. Learn how to sprint, not how to jog. And then learn how to maintain a high speed for a set distance. And in my opinion, when it comes to running, any more than that's kind of unnecessary. Probably just going to do your joints harm, do you some ill. Whereas that level, that's safety level. Also, running's really boring, not that fun. But if you just learn find and make yourself fresh sort of 1 kilometre to 1 mile tracks and circuits every other day and just do those, it's far more interesting. It's only taking like 10-15 minutes out of your day at the most, and far better for you than going on an hour-long 5 kilometre jog. Much better for you. The other thing to practice is running on tiptoes. Sounds awful, and it's hell. But practice running on your tiptoes, and oh my god, the gains your calves and your butt will see are out of this world. Remember, I'm not a personal trainer. All of this is my own personal opinion from things that I myself have looked up, read and researched. And, like, my brother, he's a personal trainer and he's taught me a lot and told me a lot, but I'm sure he'd disagree with some of what I've said. There is no 100% right way to do these things, or anything pretty much in life, especially with fitness. There's no like categorical, this is the best way. Jeff Nippard sort of made it one of his goals in life to find out like the categorical scientific best ways to do things, and I strongly recommend watching his series on science and fitness. Woo! Link in the description for that as well. Now this is the biggest danger to your opera now, because the blade is so thin and highly tempered, it does chip easily. So dropping it or smacking it into things is a really great way to fuck up your blade, like that. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Probably not. But there is a little chip in the blade now. That camera does not like focusing on things that close to it. So Jeff Nippard, strongly recommend his videos. And Athlean X. Athlean X is very science-based in his workouts and his training and his programs. Kind of impossible for 99% of people to actually do, is what I would say is the problem with his stuff. It's quite high level, a lot of it. Even his low level stuff is often quite high level. Guys used to training professional American football players and wrestlers and things. Like, bros trained with the fucking Rock, with Dwayne, the man, the machine, the myth, the legend, the Rock Johnson. He is one of the guys behind the Rock being as big as he is. So it's hard to argue with the knowledge he puts out there, as his results speak for themselves. But still, it also can't be said that it is 100% categorically the best way of doing anything, because we just don't really know enough yet. Not enough people have been studied doing XYZ exercise with electrodes strapped to them and studied in controlled settings and this, that and the other. And then individual people are different and have, our bodies can grow and change in different ways depending on our actual genetic structure. We're living in a better age than the days of Men's Health being the primary source of education for this stuff. That is what I know for sure. It's the shitloads of magazines, the old fitness magazines used to teach. Now that was bollocks. I remember buying some of them when I was a kid. It's like, you know, I was 17, I was very insecure, I was at my heaviest then, and I bought Men's Health thinking I'd be able to find some knowledge in there to help me lose weight, and nothing ever defeated me as heavily as that did. Ever. And you're shown this ultimate fat burning routine, and it involves like more than 200 sets. It's gonna take you literally 5 hours a day every day to follow this. It's not realistic. Nobody can do this. What are you on about? So we're living in a better age than that. Everyone's probably thinking, so Pete, what's your opinion on fat acceptance? Well, I don't really give a shit. I think Tess Holiday isn't a role model. I think if you convince yourself that you are happy with yourself, if you're content with your body, then that's fine. It is everyone's right to feel how they want to feel about themselves and how they want to live, what shape, what size they want to be. Quite simply. The ones that I don't like, feeders, where you have, say, a 700-pound woman, 300-kilo woman, and men paying for her to keep eating and gain more weight and eat herself to death, or where the parents just do nothing and help and accommodate, and it gets to the point where you've got these people who can't get out of their beds and their parents are just feeding them, like they can't even fit through the door anymore, and their parents are just feeding them more and more each day. those people are fucking psychopaths. And it swings both ways. I think it can be very difficult. I say that it swings both ways, but when you're the parent or the guardian of somebody and they, you know, say, if you are the parent or the guardian of a child and the child has an issue with their personal image, has an issue with how much they're eating, wants to try and lose weight, and they're validated in feeling that, you know, it's not just a case of anorexia or negative self-body image from external places, then I think it is the parent's duty and responsibility to help the child with that. At the end of the day, you're the parent, you're buying the food, you're giving the kid their money. Like, there's very few excuses. This is something I've had discussions with my mum about, and she has apologised to me. You know, the issue with her is she couldn't see that I was, I mean, this is also often sometimes the issue, like, and I mean, I got morbidly obese, and my mum couldn't see it. She could only see it as puppy fat. She couldn't see the fact that I was going to develop type 2 diabetes by the time I was 25. She could only see her beautiful son. You know, that's all she was ever able to see. I'm so beautiful. You know what I mean? That's how mothers see their children, and it's very difficult for them. It's harder for my dad because he could see it, but then it's hard for them to overrule the mother's wishes with things regarding their children in many households and many societies. This is the way it is. My brother could see it, bully me for it. And his bullying didn't help. He eventually learned better and he stopped bullying me for it. And then he spent a while trying to encourage me. And the encouragement was certainly right, but again, it was something I needed to come to terms with in my own head, more than he could force me to or encourage me to. You know, it's down to each individual person. He had his own life that he had to live. He couldn't spend all of his time just encouraging his little brother to get healthy. So it's no one else's responsibility to do that either. So it was only once I decided that I wanted to make changes to my own personal life and fitness and health and things that anything actually happened. And that's the way it is for everybody. So I think people harping on about fat acceptance and stuff all the time aren't really doing that much good either, really, because they're often just driving people further into their way of thinking. You know, it's this thing of, well, fuck you, basically, you know. I don't want to listen to you because you're just a dick who goes on about this all the time. It's annoying. Both sides have very valid points. You can literally be beautiful pretty much no matter how big you are. I do think that changes once you're at the stage where you're like, you know, there's American 600-pound people, like, that's, I don't know how anyone can find that beautiful because it's so far past any figure of healthiness that it can't be comprehended as any standard form of beauty. But if you look at being generally a little bit plump or a little bit overweight, well, throughout history, yeah, that's often been celebrated as something very beautiful and very attractive. So there's historically, analogically, analogously, I don't know the word that I'm trying to say, there's plenty of reasons to find women who are a bit overweight very attractive and very beautiful, and plenty of reasons to find women who are too underweight not attractive, because, you know, you get to a certain point of, I'm being really sexist probably sounding with this conversation, but it's just the, like, we'll focus on men in a sec as well, don't worry. It's the thing of, like, genetically speaking, we're going to be attracted to a partner that looks fertile and healthy So if you're too overweight or too underweight, you probably can't bear children. Your ovarian cycle, or it's called, may not be working correctly. You may not be having periods, and you may not be able to get pregnant. In that case, it biologically, genetically makes sense for us not to find you attractive at that point anymore. And vice versa. Men who are too obese, historically, women wouldn't have found them attractive for good genetic reason. That man's probably unable to provide. Like, he may look like he can provide for himself, but it shows other bad things. It probably shows quite a large amount of selfishness, but also gluttony and greed. And you get too big, your sperm stops working correctly, you become impotent. So there'd be plenty of reasons to not find those men attractive either. But also, when you become too skinny, when you're malnourished, these same things can occur too. I think we should just be preaching body acceptance as a whole, and body acceptance should more maybe be about the weirdnesses, the uniquenesses, the differences, and all of that, and less so about directly just about weight. I think the focus on weight is an issue. There needs to be a greater focus on health and less of a focus on weight. Somebody like Stephanie Buttermore has been illustrating that really well this last year, because she was a bikini model, who entered bikini competitions, and she did not look good then. She was not healthy then. She didn't have periods. It was wrecking her body. It was causing all sorts of issues, mood issues, health issues. And she just spent this last year just doing nothing but gaining weight. She did this like all-in thing. I can't explain it here, but the results speak for themselves. She looks phenomenal now. She just looks healthier and happier than ever. There is nothing inherently great or sexy, about being thin. You just want to be healthy, and for each individual person, healthy is going to be at a slightly different body shape or size. I'm personally feeling much more healthy than I did last year, where I was way too thin. I was having major eating difficulties. I had anorexia, We've discussed this shit. I've been struggling with it for over 9 years at that point. And now I've been packing on the pounds, and I feel great. I recently felt like I was actually getting a bit too big, and then I started working out again, and doing a good bit of exercise again, and it is just, it's this stuff, it's been doing this stuff. It has helped a lot. I guess I'm happy that thanks to some aspects of fat acceptance, the world is in a far removed place from where it was, when heroin chic was in, and women would say, does my bum look big in this, in terror and fear. Now women say, does my bum look big? You're like, yeah, girl, your bum looks big. It's a much better place. I would say, I have as much an issue with somebody like Amberlyn Reid or Tessa Holiday as I do with somebody like Eugenia Cooney. I think they should all disappear from the public eye. None of them should be supported in any shape, way, or form. They're all basically disgusting human beings. Whoa. Did I just say Eugenia Cooney's a disgusting human being? What am I doing? Starting drama, Pete. I know everyone thinks she's this wonderful, goody two-shoes, sweet girl, sweet innocent thing. Oh, she's so sweet, she's so lovely to everyone. She's very manipulative of her audience. She is still like the number one thinspo queen. She's still, without saying that they're sponsored, like without properly disclaiming like what she's getting and stuff, like literally breaking the law, she's still doing brand deals with companies like Dolskill, and it's just, all of her recent videos have been body checks. I know lately she's done some cooking videos, which are literally just videos saying, see, I'm eating. But meanwhile, body check, body check, body check, every thumbnail a body check. She's not that young, she's like 25. How dumb are people? 25 isn't a child. James Charles, treat James Charles like he's a child. I may have done some dumbass things when I was younger, but I was still an adult at that point, you know? Basically, if you see somebody connected in a close personal way to Shane Dawson, you can fairly safely assume that person is quite smart, manipulative, and will do anything to maintain their sort of career. I'm saying that about my beloved Trish Paytas. I love Trish Paytas, but like, she's one of the smartest of the bunch when you get down to it. Put it this way: everyone that's started drama with Trish Paytas or tried to cancel Trish Paytas or get Trish Paytas cancelled has been cancelled in return. Only exception I can really think of in a big way is that mukbanger guy who tried to start beef with her. But that's just because he's just managed to maintain this by reaching further levels of insanity and depravity. Neat game plan. People think Trisha is an idiot, but you come after her and you get burned. It's one thing to just, you know, be in the commentary community ripping into her and taking the piss. She's fine with that shit. You get personal, you like try to actually fuck with her, it won't go well. That's probably why Blair White chose to be smart and just befriend Trisha, because don't fuck with that fire. Just look at all the people that Eugenia Cooney was friends with. That really creepy looking one that everyone hates. People, I'm pretty sure they hang out with people like Jeffree Star as well, with Shane Dawson, who hangs out with Jeffree Star, who's... Do I really need to say the issues with Shane Dawson right now? Oh, just watched Philly DeFranco Drama Alert or something. Jacqueline Glenn, absolute scumbag. Even Blair White, who I kind of always loved and always thought kind of the best of, made me ask some questions in her latest video where she's saying, you know, Jeffree Star's shown her this incriminating evidence about like a rape or something, but she can't go to the police with it. Just, what's wrong with people? Yeah, the people protect their friends, but sometimes they aren't worth protecting. And I, personally, just saying, do not want to fuck with the Smith family. Shane Dawson is so lucky that it's just Willow and Jaden and Jada Pinkett Smith that have spoken out against him. What happens when Daddy fucking Will says something about Shane Dawson? Oh, you're finished at that point. Will Smith is like the best man in Hollywood ever. Our entire generation loves him. I cannot wait. I want Will to speak up and just not finish this man's career, but just roast him beyond anything anyone can imagine. Because Will's a smart guy. Their whole family's smart, talented, powerful. They're literal New Age aristocracy. They will leave behind a dynasty. If Jaden or Willow, or if not them, their children do not end up in politics and changing the very face of America, if not this world, I will be shocked. Same probably with Beyonce's kids. These people are setting themselves up to be the next Clintons, to be the next Bushes. And good on them. Hey, we're getting there. Sandpaper time, I think. Shit my eye. Go. Well, I had to happen eventually. Fuck. Oh. Can yes, you cut their finger.
What with saw?
Up and out. Sharpest fucking thing on earth. So I'm doing this all the traditional way, by hand. And it's a laborious process, but it's coming along nicely.